Right, we're back here again, part two with Mike Alessi. Right, Mike, who would you consider as the three best riders that you feel that you competed against so far in your career, and why are
Oh,
they?
first and foremost, I mean, Ricky Carmichael. I mean, how could you not say he's the greatest of all time? I mean, racing against him was awesome, and never got to beat him in a moto or an overall, but I did get to say I beat him in a practice at Redbud, and this was in 2007, and I beat him by like literally 0.2 of a second, so like nothing. And I remember we were parked across from each other in our semis, where Suzuki and KTM were, and he comes in after practice, he throws his helmet down, he throws the motorcycle down, stomps off, he's just mad. Just because I beat him by 0.2 of a second in practice. Like, racing against RC, he was super competitive, and he had a lot of heart and drive and determination. So, RC being number one, obviously, and then number two would be, obviously like James Stewart. He, one of the greatest of all time, or fastest of all time. You can't deny that he was probably the most outrided, like most spectacular rider that this sport has ever seen. Yeah. And three would be probably Ryan Villopoto, Ryan Dungey as a toss-up. Both riders super fast, super consistent, super aggressive, and they just did whatever it took to get the job done. So, racing, in this career that I've had, they say you're only as good as the competition you race against, and I can honestly say I've raced the best in this sport. And man, I've raced all the greatest riders that this sport has pretty much ever had, or in my time period. So
competed well with these guys as well.
Yeah, those 3 or 4 guys. I mean, I can't leave out Reed. He's a great guy in his right. I would put RC and then James as 1 and 2, and then a tie between the Ryans.
It's quite hard, isn't it, when you think of your era of racing? There's been like amazing the guys.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, a lot of people don't really understand this, but like I've been 5th, the vice champion 5 years, and one little mistake by any of those guys that I was going up a championship against, Tedesco in 05, Villopoto in 06, Langston in 07, Stewart in 08 when he had the perfect season, and then I had the championship in 09 before I broke my kneecap, and then in 2012 I was second to Dungey that year. So like I said, 1 or 2 little mistakes by them. I mean, those championships could have been mine. It just didn't fall that way, and that's racing, that's part of life, and you just got to on and just keep striving to be a better you the next day. And the sun's gonna rise the next morning, you get up and you're gonna put your shoes on and go to work.
Definitely need a little bit of luck as well along the way, and obviously like even the one with your kneecap, that was obviously you had a great chance that year as well.
Yeah, frustrating. Shit luck, that's how it goes.
It's life, isn't it, sometimes? Okay, if you could give some advice to any youngster that's like currently racing in youth motocross that wants to go pro, what would the advice be?
Well, first and foremost, I would say obviously keep it fun, keep it casual, almost like a hobby in a sense. And I feel like, and this is just me strictly speaking, I feel like at about the age of 12, 13, you kind of realize if you got it or if you don't. And when I say that, I mean, do you have that drive, that heart, determination, the dedication to going out there and training and putting in the hours? And I feel like right about that age, you either know you're going to do this or you're not. And it's either going to be a job or it's going to be a hobby. And I feel like at 12, 13, that's the biggest age that they, at least for me, that's where I feel like it was a determining factor, like whether I was going to keep doing this as a hobby or if this was going to be my, career and my job to make money.
Yeah. Are there actually any other sports that you enjoy doing or watching in general?
I love football. I love basketball. I love football. I love baseball too. I'm not really into soccer. I know you English the soccer term or football term, but I'm not a soccer football kind of guy. I love American football. I love American basketball, baseball.
Any teams you follow in particular?
Anaheim Angels all the way. That was my team since I was pretty much born. I was brought up to be an Angels fan, and that's my baseball team. And then the Jacksonville Jaguars, who play in I think they play in London the last couple of years, and Jacksonville being my home city where I live here in Florida, that's my football team, and yeah. So I love all the sports, just maybe not the soccer.
Maybe not the soccer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the future of like with if not involved in racing? What are you planning to do?
Well, as of right now, I'm still an active racer, and I still feel like I'm, somewhat fast enough to still be competing and racing and making some money here and there. And that's what's cool about my schedule and the way that I have it planned out now is I'm not doing that grind from January to May Supercross and then the Nationals from May until September. Now I get to kind of pick and choose, which races I want to do where I feel like it's fun and still make some money. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like my biggest thing is I need to come home to my family, to my wife, my kid. It's like I got priorities still here at home. And, I want to see those moments. I want to see the birth of my daughter, and I want to see her first steps, her first words. And to me, that means a lot, where to other people, maybe it's not that big of a deal. To me, like I don't want to miss those moments. And for me to watch her grow up and to be, raised by my wife and I and teach her right from wrong, good from bad, like those are the moments that I want to see and I want to be a part of.
So you're almost like getting the best of both worlds at the moment, as it's doing it in a cool way.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, my heart determination to race and still be competitive and train, it's still there. I'm 32 going on 33 years old. Like, I'm considered in this sport an old man, but like, dude,
veteran.
Still feel like I'm 20, 25 years old. Like I'm still hungry to like get results, do the best that I can, try to win, work hard, go out on my bike ride, sweat, do what it takes to be competitive. And, some people are born with that and some people aren't. And that's why I say in this sport, man, you're either one or the other. You're a contender or you're a pretender. And, I've always been that kind of guy who's a contender and that goes for it. And, I'm not a pretender. Like there is a lot of guys in this sport who are pretenders and that's just not me.
That's cool. What are your social media usernames on all the platforms so that people can check you out and follow?
Well, the biggest one obviously is Instagram. Mike Alessi _800, and I got Twitter. So just my outlets for social media, and people are really into the Instagram nowadays. It's almost like advertising in a sense for sponsors, and to try to get more stuff out there. And I know the world and how it's working. It's everything is about promotion and giving the sponsors what they need to get a platform to grow their company and their business. So they're doing that through the riders, and I understand it's part of life. But that's what I got. The Instagram, Mike Alessi _800, and I think I got just a little over 100,000 followers, so it's not bad. Just comparing it to like someone like Roxon who's got 1.5 million, it's not as good, but to me 100,000 is plenty. Like
you're definitely a star, that's for sure. Is there any shout outs you want to give to any sponsors or anything you want to say before we go?
Biggest one, obviously, so a lot of people either do or do not know who Mike Genova is, and his heart, dedication, and his love for this sport, in my career. So 2011, I had just finished up with Red Bull KTM, and they were hiring Dungey to fill my spot at that race team. So at the end of 2011, I didn't have any phone calls, no offers, nothing. And Mike Genova came to me and offered me a deal and a ride to be on his team. And I rode for him since the end of 2011 to literally to this last year now, 2020. And, in my career of racing for him, he's been, the number one biggest asset, I feel like, in my career, because at that point, I could have been done, no more racing or doing it on my own, which is always a struggle. And, in the, close to the last 10 years of being a part of his team and his program, he's paid me probably well over $1 million. And, I appreciate everything that he has done for me, and not just for me, but he's still continuing putting riders on the track, mechanics at work. My dad, Tony Alessi, the team manager for Motor Concepts, and he's still in this sport supplying riders, mechanics, and people a job in this industry. And I give him all the gratitude and dedication that he's given to me, and big thank you to him. And And another person, my English friend, Brad Turner, he's been a huge part of my success in my career and helping me with my suspension. And just a great mate and a great friend of mine, and someone I can say is a true friend.
Yeah, I know him well. I've done his interview as well, and he used to race sort of like when I raced. I was one of the older riders when he was young.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. When he told me he was like really best mates with you and you was at his wedding, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Brad and I have been friends since we were like 10 years old.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Long time.
I'm just going to need to talk to you off camera in a second, Mike, if that's all right. But we will say bye to all the viewers, and I really appreciate you giving me your time for this, and it's been an absolute honour to speak to you as well. So much appreciated, mate. Much appreciated.
Thank you
very much.